All right, here we go. We're starting up. All right, this is going to be awesome. It's going to be another little practice session. So remember, the reason that we meditate is because we are trying to cultivate the skill, the capacity to do what I call see what's happening, all right? To notice what's happening, to notice your self-talk, your thinking, your critical mind, your judgmental mind, your reactiveness, your emotional upset, your being triggered, anything and everything that takes you out of your current moment experience, all right? So the majority of us, for most of our day, we're just thinking on autopilot. And what we want is a conscious participation in the thinking process. So we want to be able to see what's happening, to see ourselves getting caught up. And when we see that and notice it, we have a chance to work with it, okay? So we're going to do a little practice session here, focusing on a few different focuses to cultivate this skill. And you're going to notice coming out of this, you'll feel very calm and relaxed. And all we're really trying to do here is cultivate the capacity to be present, okay? All right, so the first thing we want to do is make sure we're in an undistracted environment. We want to be in a comfortable seat. You can be on the ground, cross-legged, lotus, or you can be sitting in a chair, on a bench, it doesn't matter. And ideally, throughout this entire process, we're going to keep our eyes open because we're trying to cultivate present moment awareness. So if having your eyes open is distracting, you can always do like a downward gaze right in front of you and just kind of stare down in front of you, all right? Also, let's just have an intention that we're really going to try to do what it is we're trying to do here. And I'm going to walk us through it, but let's really be present and focused on what it is that we're trying to do so we can cultivate some good skill work, okay? All right, first thing we want to do is just engage all the senses by taking a few deep breaths, looking around and listening at the same time so that we can see what it feels like to be completely present, all right? So a few deep breaths, looking around and feeling and listening. All right, cool. Now, when we did that, I want you to acknowledge that there was a moment of pure openness. There was no thinking whatsoever. We had all the senses engaged. And because we had all the senses engaged, we were completely present and there was no thinking. That's how we create space in the mind. A lot of people think when you meditate, it's about forcing clearance and making yourself not think. The mind is meant to think. The mind thinks like the heart beats. You can't stop it. But what you can do is introduce a focus. We like the present moment focuses of the senses. And when you do that, things just open up naturally. All right. So that's the practice moment that we're looking for every time we notice ourselves thinking or lost in thought or talking to ourselves throughout this entire process. We want that moment of pristine openness and clarity and presence. Okay. So the first focus we're going to use is the focus of listening. So now instead of engaging all the senses, I want you to keep your eyes open and I want you to take a moment and just listen and see what kind of sounds you have access to in your current moment experience. All right, cool. So here I'm in the office. I don't really have access to a whole lot. I've got background noise from the gym. Some classes are going on. A little bit of an air conditioning. So if you're sitting outside, maybe you have distant traffic, maybe you have birds, planes flying overhead. If you're inside, maybe the hum of a refrigerator, the air or something like that. Even hearing people talk can be a useful sound to listen to. But again, I want us to acknowledge that when we engage the sense of listening, there's a temporary moment of just pure openness. It's void of any thought, right? And if we do it one more time, let's just listen. There's no thinking, all right? That's the practice moment that we're looking for as we go through this. So I want us to do 2 minutes of listening meditation. Again, we have our eyes open. We're just listening. You can listen to one particular sound. You can bounce around from sound to sound. You can try to listen to all sounds at once. And all we're looking for is the tendency to talk to ourselves, to get lost in thought, to be off in some kind of fairy tale. Sometimes when you're listening, you'll start to picture what you're listening to, and then you start a whole story and thought process around it. We just want to notice that. And in the noticing, we've stopped it temporarily. And then the instruction is simply come back and re-listen, and you'll notice some more openness and space. And we just want to do that over and over and over for the next couple minutes, okay? So 2 minutes of listening meditation. Let's do the best we can with it. All right, awesome. So if you have any feedback or questions, please feel free to comment in the live chat there. 2 minutes is plenty of time to get lost. I mean, right away, I was gone. So fascinating. But at some point, you notice that you're gone and you remember, oh, yeah, I'm supposed to be sitting here listening and meditating. And as soon as you notice, temporarily, you've kind of interrupted the whole thought process. And then you have a chance to come back and re-listen and create more space. And it's as simple as that. If you look for meditation instruction online, you'll get all kinds of crazy different guided meditations, and those are useful, but they're not true meditation. If you learn from a Tibetan monk or a Zen master, like it's sitting and having a gentle focus and noticing your mind drift and coming back, because this is synonymous with what happens to us all day, every day. We are engaged in one thing, something catches our thoughts, or we get triggered or upset, and then we're off on some kind of a thought process roller coaster. And it's rare that we ever catch ourselves in that thought process because we get caught by another thought process. And so what we want is to cultivate the skill to notice ourselves thinking and talking to ourselves. That's really what this is, okay? All right, so the next focus we want to experiment with is feeling the body. So let's take a moment and again, just kind of get into a good posture. I recommend keeping your eyes open, and let's just run our awareness up and down the spine and try to work out all the kinks in the spine so that we have a really nice upright posture. Make sure your shoulders are pinched back and that your head is tall. I like to imagine pushing my tailbone down into the seat and then having the back of my head pulled up to the sky. And then let's maintain that nice posture for the rest of the meditation. Let's do a quick body scan starting at the feet. Let's feel the pressure of the feet up against the ground. Feel that connection point. And then let's feel the pressure of the seat up against the butt. Feel that connection point. And then let's take a couple of deep breaths. And as we breathe out, let's let gravity pull us down to those two connection points and feel those two connection points at once. All right, let's come up to the stomach and feel the stomach move as we breathe. Let's come up to the chest and feel the lungs. Let's put our awareness in the center of the chest, see if we can feel the heart. And then let's come out to the hands. I recommend having your palms up. And let's feel the hands. Let's come out to the fingertips and feel the fingertips. And let's have the intention to increase the blood flow to the fingertips so that we can feel a heartbeat or a pulse or a throbbing in the fingertips. All right, and then you can relax your hands. Let's come up to the head and work on the head. Let's feel the ears. Let's come out to the forehead and brow. Relax the forehead and brow. Relax the muscles around the eyes. Come down and feel the nasal passage. Come down to the mouth and relax the muscles around the mouth. Then feel the lips. Take a moment and feel the entire face. And then let's place our awareness in the entire body at once. Just try to feel the whole body, connecting everything that we just went through from the feet all the way up to the head. All right, cool. I want us to take a moment and see if we have any external environmental factors. So we're just looking for a slight breeze, maybe the contrast of the warmth and some coolness. All right, now I want us to acknowledge that as we just went through that process, even though it was guided, we weren't thinking about a whole lot, right? We had our focuses, and in that focus, we cleared space and mind, right? So what I want us to do is about a minute of practice of just feeling the body. And what we're doing here, we got the eyes open, we can do a body scan, we can feel specific parts of the body. I like to try to feel the whole body at once, but regardless, we're trying to feel the body as a focus. And as soon as you notice yourself talking to yourself or lost in thought or completely gone, which is perfectly fine, but at some point you'll notice that, just come back and refeel the body and create some more space and openness. Okay? We're going to do that for a minute together. All right, cool. So again, a minute is plenty of time to get lost. All right. Um, and if you get lost, it's perfectly normal. So don't get frustrated with that. Right. The goal is to notice that at some point. Now we've cultivated the skill to notice thinking. We've temporarily interrupted that cascade, and then we have a chance to come back to the present moment through feeling. Now, the last focus that we want to use today is the focus of the breath, a very traditional focus. And when you focus on the breath, it's present, it's here in the present moment, and it's a great way to get in touch with your mind-body connection. Okay, so let's just do a little bit of practice with the breath. Let's make sure we still have some good upright posture. And then I want us to just take a few deep breaths and connect with the breath in whatever way makes sense for you as an individual. All right, next I want you to follow the breath all the way in to the turnaround point and then all the way back out. Follow the breath. All right, next I want us to feel the breath at the nostrils, the nasal passage in the back of the throat. Feel the breath. All right, let's come down to the stomach and let's feel the breath or notice the breath. Move the stomach in and out as we breathe. Just follow the stomach in and out. And then let's transition to what is known as a total body breath. So as we breathe in and out, we should feel our whole body shift. All right, and then let's take a moment and lightly place our awareness at the bottom of the exhale. You'll notice the bottom of the exhale, there's usually a slight brief pause where the body is completely still. So let's take a moment and at the bottom of every exhale, just place our awareness there. Maybe feel that pause. All right, cool. So we're going to finish up here with about a minute of practice with the breath. Now you can focus on any aspect of the breath that feels right for you. You can do the follow the breath, feel the breath of the stomach, the total body breath, the pause at the bottom of the exhale. It doesn't matter. But the ultimate goal is to have that focus and then to notice yourself talking to yourself or lost in thought or completely gone, again, which is perfectly normal. But as soon as you notice it, then you've temporarily stopped it and you have a chance to come back to the present moment and create more space. Okay? So we'll do that together for about a minute. All right, cool. So we always like to finish our meditations by ending on excellence. Before we go off into the craziness of the day, we want to take a moment and just get a clear picture or vision of what it is we're trying to accomplish, right? So if you don't have envisioning material or if you don't have a memorized prayer, as a bonus, I'm going to send you guys our brainstorming and vision statements, little short videos, like 15 or 20 minutes. I mean, that's short to us, but it'll help you create what we call a big prayer and a little prayer that you can have memorized, so that when you finish meditation in the morning or when you finish your quiet time or your devotion, you can go through this paragraph, and it's basically programming yourself to look for all the things that you want to bring into your life. All right, but what we can do right now is just take a moment and close our eyes. And then I want you to picture yourself from a slight distance. You can see yourself outside your body. And this version of yourself is possibly rotating on a little platform or pedestal. And this version of yourself is extremely happy, healthy, fit, lean, preferably with a smile on your face. And this version of yourself encompasses everything that you want to accomplish in life: financial, career, relationship, family, travel. I mean, you name it. It's a feeling that you get from seeing this version of yourself. This is the kind of person that you're evolving to become. And the question is, what are the things that we need to do on a daily basis to become that version of ourselves? We don't have to know the answer to that right now, but we have to see this vision every day, because when we see that vision, we're more likely to figure out what it is we need to do to get there. So as you get a clear picture of that freaking amazing version of yourself, I want you to take a moment and step into that version of yourself with a big smile on your face. All right, cool. Now remember why we're doing this again. We meditate to cultivate the skill of noticing ourselves thinking, talking to ourselves, or lost in thought, right? This is a very powerful skill, because the majority of people are on autopilot from the time they wake up to the time they go to bed. There's not a moment they're not thinking about something, and rarely are they in the present moment. So now our intention is to use this skill that we just practiced, the skill of noticing ourselves thinking and coming back to whatever focus it was that we were on. Now our intention is to go throughout the day and use that skill to notice ourselves getting distracted from our work project, to notice ourselves getting triggered or upset from a text message or an email or some conversation that we had, or to notice ourselves being critical or judgmental, or to notice ourselves just getting lost and in some kind of a dark hole. And as soon as we notice that thinking, all of a sudden, temporarily, we're not anymore, and we have a chance to work with it. At that moment, we can come back to our work project. We can choose to come back to the present moment through listening, feeling, or focusing on the breath. We can reframe the situation and ask ourselves, what do I really want? What am I trying to accomplish here? And try to turn that into a positive, okay? Very powerful skill that we're cultivating here. Thank you guys so much for showing up today. If you have any questions or comments or feedback, please leave them in the chat box here. And also feel free to shoot me an email, okay? All right, I care about you guys. I'll send you a follow-up email today with our brainstorming and visioning statements. If you're not on my email list, again, maybe comment here and get that to me in some way. All right, y'all make it a great day.